Hi, I'm Mike Laudel.
And I'm Rob Van Horn. With everyone stuck at home, it seems to be just a common theme for people to be flexing their culinary muscles.
Well, some of the VHSTV students are here to demonstrate some of their favorite recipes for you. Coming up, we have a cranberry cake, spiced up ramen noodles, smoked salmon, loaded potato skins, and a super simple mug cake.
Welcome to this special episode of The Cutting Edge.
So today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a simple cranberry cake. You're going to need 12 ounces of cranberries, 3 eggs, 2 cups sugar, 2 cups flour, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 3/4 of a cup of butter, and your prepared baking dishes. And then also mixing bowl for mixing. So the first thing you're going to do is not be here. You got to go over to your oven and preheat it on 350. And then you go back to your stuff. Your ingredients, you do that, yep. Crack your eggs 3 times, so 1, 2, and 3, and add all 3 to your bowl. Oh no. I'm not good at this. So then add the second egg, and the third egg shell is going to be a little dirty, so you're going to want to brush the dirt off, and then add that too. Then you're going to add in your sugar, which I forgot to record, and then you're going to stir it for 5 to 7 minutes. And it'll look kind of pretty like this when it's done. After that, you're going to add in your vanilla and butter, and then go wash your hands because you let the butter sit out for half an hour because you're a slow cook. So here's where you're going to want to look up the directions and see that it says to mix for another 2 minutes. So after that, your batter is going to look like a pretty chunky boy like this. Then you're going to add in your flour, 1 and 2, and then you're going to stir it, starting off slowly so you don't do this. Whoa. Now that that's cleaned up, you're going to want to try to open the bag of cranberries with your hands, but then remember that you're a scrawny teenage boy and get some scissors instead. Then you're going to struggle to get the cranberries into the bowl, and then your camera's going to die. But don't worry, because we're back to this deliciousness. ASMR. So then you're going to show off your lumpy cake to the camera while your mom plays old people music in the background. So then you're going to want to put the cake in the oven and get scared by the noise it makes. Then you'll want to take a 40 to 50 minute shower because that's how long this takes to bake. After that, you can test if the cake is ready with a toothpick and then probably stab a cranberry, but that's fine because look how pretty this cake is. So this is what the cake looks like at the end. It did lose its bundt shape when it was taken out, but it's fine because it's still really good. Anyway, that's all. Bye.
Step 1, wash the potatoes, make sure all of the dirt is completely off them and that they are clean. Step 2, preheat the oven to 400. Step 3, cut the potatoes into thinly cut slices. Step 4. Oil all of the potatoes before putting in the oven. Step 5. Put them in the oven. Step 6. Cook your bacon so it's nice and crisp. Step 7. Crumble the bacon into little pieces. Step 8. Oil the potatoes again. Step 9. Put the potatoes back in for 10 minutes. Now you're going to want to cheese your potatoes. And then the bacon. and then put them in the oven for about 5 minutes and they'll come out nice and crisp. We're going to put some sour cream, and I put a little onions and chives on there. It's your choice what you want to put on there. And that's it. You have your loaded potato slice. Mmm.
Hello Voorhees, Mike Mosier here with you from VHSTV, and today I'm going to show you how to smoke salmon. What I have here are 2 beautiful fillets of Atlantic salmon, which I did not have the benefit of catching, but my father was kind enough to go out to ShopRite and get me some. And what I have behind us are my ingredients, so I'll take you through them, and let's get cooking. So what you're going to need for this recipe is obviously your salmon, or if you're a fisherman like me and you catch some trout from around this area, you can do it with that too. Then you're going to need olive oil, which not only helps to keep the fish from sticking to the grates as you're smoking it, it helps to keep the seasoning on the fish itself so you can lock in as much flavor as possible. Then you're going to have salt, sugar, a bowl to mix your salt and sugar, garlic salt, onion salt, measuring utensils, plastic wrap. For when you're done seasoning the fish, you can wrap it in that plastic wrap, let it sit in the fridge overnight to really let the fish absorb that seasoning, and then a bowl to let that fish sit in overnight so if any liquid comes out, you don't get it all over your fridge. Let's get to it. So what you're going to want to start off by doing is add your olive oil to your fish. You want to add it liberally so you can get as, and you really can't go wrong, you can't use too much olive oil. And then after you pour it, you're going to want to rub it to cover the whole fillet evenly. I added some paper towels, so if anything nothing will get on the counter. So you want to spread it evenly on the meat side of the fish, and then you're going to flip it over. Your fillet should have skin on it, and then pour some more on the skin side. Do that for both fillets. Flip them back over to the meat side. For this step, I put a chest mount on so everybody can see how my knife is working. You want to be very careful. So every 2 to 3 inches you want to cut diagonally, not entirely through the fish, just a little bit down, just enough to open the meat up. So about 2 inches, turn your knife and gently slide it through, just enough to open it up. You want to do that every 2 inches or so. Just like that. There we go. 3 perfect scores. And then you're going to want to do it on the next fillet. So now that you've got your fish all scored up, you're going to want to add your salt and your sugar. The ratio of salt to sugar is 1 pound of salt for every 2 ounces of sugar. So I've got a pound of salt and 2 ounces of sugar mixed up in a bowl. I'm going to want to apply that to your fish just enough to where it doesn't run off with the oil. So you want to have it evenly distributed throughout the fillet without it running off, and you want to rub it in. You're going to do that to both fillets. Now that you've added your salt and your sugar, you're going to want to add your onion salt and your garlic salt. You can add this to taste, but I'm not going to put too much on it because there's already plenty of salt on it with your cure. That was the onion salt. And now, oh, pardon me, that was the garlic salt. Now we're going to add our onion salt. There we go. Now that you have your fillets perfectly seasoned, as you can see I already have some of it laid out, you're going to want to let it sit in the fridge overnight. So take your fillets and put one skin side down onto your plastic wrap. Take the other and put it meat side down, so both pieces of meat are touching each other, just like so. Then you're going to want to take plastic wrap, wrap it over your fish, and you want it to be as tight as it can so that there's no way fresh air can contact it while it's in the fridge, because you don't want bacteria growing. There we go. Then you're going to grab your dish, put your fillets that are wrapped into your dish. You're going to put that in the fridge and let it sit overnight. Now that we have our smoker up to heat and the heat continues to rise, it's time to put our salmon in. And there you have it, perfectly smoked salmon. My family loves this recipe, and I hope yours comes to enjoy it just as much as mine does. From VHSTV, I'm Mike Mosier.
Hey, welcome to my second quarantine vlog. Today I was gonna do a cooking demonstration, but I don't have that much stuff in my pantry, so I'm gonna go ahead and look, see what we do have, and what I can pull together, and maybe make some ramen noodles or something, depending on what I have. Make some flavored ramen and spice it up a bit, but all I can find is this package of some weird kind of noodles, so we're just gonna see if we can make these into some ramen. So these are pretty much all of the ingredients we're gonna be using today. We have some ramen noodles, some eggs which we're gonna hard boil, and a bunch of seasonings. If you don't have all of them, that's fine. The main ingredients you would need for ramen is the soy sauce, sriracha, which you can get in any grocery store really, chicken broth, and all this is more optional, but we're still gonna use it. The first thing I'm gonna do is get the eggs boiling, so I'll put our eggs in a pot, and the first thing we're gonna do is fill it up with water about an inch or so above the eggs. And that's about good. Got this turned up to high, and I'm just gonna wait for the pot to come to a boil. Once it is at a boil, as we can see it is, I'm going to turn off the heat completely and just kind of cover that a little bit. And let it set for about 13 minutes. Also, shout out to this cricket I saw in the middle of my kitchen. Leonard, if you're watching this, you're a real man. Now that the 13 minutes has passed, I'm just going to go ahead and transfer the eggs into a cool ice water bath. Added 3 cups of water into a pot and set it to high. While it's boiling, I'm going to add in my noodles. You can use whatever type of noodles you want. This is just the ones I chose from my pantry. and I'm also going to reduce the heat to medium-high. The package these noodles were in didn't say how long to cook them for exactly. I'm just going to cook them until they're al dente, or probably around 4 minutes, I'm guessing. Once the noodles are cooked, I'm going to lower the heat. Now's where the fun part comes in, the seasoning. Start off by adding in some chicken broth concentrate. The ingredient I'll add in is some gochujang. I'm going to use about a half teaspoon. Now, for those of you who don't know, gochujang is a really salty pepper paste, and it's found in most Asian supermarkets. Once again, I'm eyeballing it, but a little bit of this stuff goes a long way, so I won't be adding too much. Next, I'll add in a generous squeezing of sriracha. Next, I'll add in a generous squeeze of sriracha. The next ingredient I'm adding in is some pure sesame oil. I'm also going to add in around a teaspoon or so of soy sauce. I'm just going to take a whisk and mix everything up until it's dissolved. After tasting it, I think it needed a little bit more salt, so I'm going to go ahead and add in some more soy sauce. The next thing I'm going to add is a couple drops of fish sauce. Now that the ramen's ready, I'm going to transfer it into a bowl. For garnish, I'm going to be using the hard-boiled eggs we cooked earlier. I cut each egg in half, and now I'll place them on the soup for garnish. Last but not least, I'll add a little bit of sesame seeds on top for garnish.
I'm Lexi.
And I'm her sister, Alli.
So today we're going to teach you how to make a microwavable chocolate chip mug cake.
The recipe's from Pinterest.
Overall, it's super easy and fun to make, and it only takes like 10 minutes.
First, add in 4 tablespoons of flour. Now add in 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Add 3 tablespoons of milk. Add 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips. 1/2 tablespoon of vegetable oil. 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Add 1/8 teaspoon of vanilla and begin to stir. Stir until the batter looks even and then place the mug into the microwave. Set the microwave for 1 minute. After 1 minute, all you have to do is let your mug cake cool down a little bit.
So overall, it came out pretty good, like for only taking us like 10 minutes. And it tastes really good too. And like we're all bored, like it's super easy to make.
I like making it.
I'm Alli. And I'm Lexi from VHSTV.
Hey Voorhees, it's Luke, and in today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how to make a pizza.
So before anything, you're going to want to wash your hands and clean any surfaces you're working on. You don't want anything getting contaminated, especially at a time like this. I'm using one of the make-your-own pizza kits that they're selling at Max's in California. You'll also need a rolling pin, flour, a pizza stone, and optionally, cornmeal. Preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and put the pizza stone in there while you wait. Thoroughly flour the surface you're working on and begin kneading the dough. If your dough's dry, add some olive oil. Once you've thoroughly kneaded your dough, begin rolling. Roll it out into a flat circular shape that'll fit the pizza stone. Once your dough is ready, take the pizza stone out. If you want, coat the pizza stone with some cornmeal. This helps the pizza stick less. Once you have your dough on your stone, lightly coat the top of the dough with some olive oil. And then sauce and cheese. If you want, you can put a little Parmesan on top too. Then put it in the oven for about 15 minutes. Once the 15 minutes is up, take the pizza stone out and rotate it around. After that, put it back in for about another 10 to 15 minutes. Once it's done, you've cut it up. The only thing left to do is eat.